What's up, guys? It is Chris back with another watch video. Today we're taking a look at Island watches. This is the Islander ISL 27. It's a new watch, a new offering from the brand. I spoke to Mark over at LongIslandWatches.com. He is the owner of Islander watches, and he sent me over this watch to review. Inside the box, you just get a card. The card has some instructions on it, which point you to the website for warranty and instructions. This gets a 12-month warranty. So this is a new one from the brand, like I mentioned. This is inspired by the Samurai. They have watches that are inspired by the Turtle. Probably their most famous is the ones that are inspired by the SKX. And I believe that's how the brand was actually sort of started. When the SKX was being discontinued, they decided to sort of take up the torch and start making SKXs that were upgraded from the original SKX. So you get a better bracelet, applied indices, you get ceramic bezels, things like that, loomed bezels, and just a really nice bracelet. I mean, the bracelet on this is incredible. So what they've done is, then they came out with the Turtle. This is the Samurai version. So what's the difference between this and the Samurai? Not only have they made, obviously, upgrades to the watch, but this is 42 millimeters, not 44 millimeters, 48 millimeters lug to lug, 14 millimeters thick. You get a tapered bracelet on here. This is what I love, a tapered bracelet, and I'm always happy to see that. A very robust, very thick, beautifully made bracelet. So what is the bracelet upgrades besides being thick and looking nice? Screwed links, so you don't get a push pin and collar system. You get a very nice milled buckle, and you have milled end links. Of course, you get drilled lugs, which you also get on the Samurai. Slightly smaller than the Samurai, so it wears a little bit better than the Samurai, I would say, than the 44 millimeters. Screwed in crown, screwed in case back, all stainless steel construction, ceramic bezel, which is loomed. You get Luminova on that bezel, you get Luminova on the hands and indices, and also the logo at 12 o'clock, the Islander logo. So a lot of lume on the watch. I'm not sure if it beats out Lumebright, because Lumebright is really, really bright, but what they've done is they've just added a ton more lume, because you're getting a lume bezel as well, and a lume logo, so you're getting a lot more lume. Sapphire crystal, no hardlex on here. This has a beautiful beveled edge on this sapphire crystal. It is not sharp. It feels beautiful. I mean, really, really nice. The whole watch is finished very, very nicely. I just am very impressed overall with the overall finishing, the fit, the feel, and the weight of this watch is nicer than you would get with the normal Samurai because of the bracelet. The bracelet itself is just nicer. It's a more substantial bracelet. You do get a little less of micro adjust here in the bracelet. There's only 3 positions, or really 2 more positions besides this position that it's in right now. I think on the Samurai you get another extra position or 2. So that is a little bit less than what you get on the Samurai, but other than that, I would go for this bracelet over the Samurai's bracelet any day of the week. I think they really knock it out of the park with this bracelet. It's substantial, but it's also really nicely finished, brushed on the underside, polished on the outsides, and then brushed on the tops. It's really angular, catches the light really nicely. And then, of course, the case itself is very similar to the Samurai, so if you're familiar with the Samurai, it looks very much the same. You have a day date. Inside, you have the Seiko NH36, so of course, day date right there. As I mentioned, applied indices that are loomed, and 200 meters of water resistance. On the back, it just has a little map of Long Island. It says Islander, 200 meters, sapphire crystal, and that's it. I mean, it's a really nicely put together, very nicely made watch. I'm gonna throw it on my wrist really quick so you guys can see. There's also a couple of other things I'll get into about the watch. One of them is that the parts are interchangeable with Seiko. So if you want to put a Seiko dial on here, I think you can. I know that you could swap out parts with their SKX version, or you could put aftermarket parts that they offer. So you could really mod this watch too. So what they've done is they've made it completely moddable, as you would be able to mod an SKX or a Samurai if you wanted to. And they're interchangeable. So the dial, I believe the bezel insert, they're all interchangeable with their SKX line of Islander watches. Excellent, why not? That's a great idea. And like I said, this is, in my opinion, it feels nicer in the hands than a Samurai. The case is almost exactly the same. You have brushing on the side, the underside is all polished, and then on the tops you have brushing as well. So it's primarily a brushed case, and then you have a little bit of polishing in between those lugs. And the whole entire bezel is polished. Very similar to what you would get from a Samurai. A Samurai has a couple of different versions, and obviously they're coming out with a whole bunch of versions of this. They're coming out with a fully loomed dial, which has black indices and black hands that are not loomed, so it's sort of like a negative effect. I think that's already out, and it looks awesome. Just a really cool watch, and you know, that Hardlex, you know, replacing that Hardlex with a sapphire crystal. A lot of people do that when they buy an SKX, when they buy a Samurai. It's already done. You don't have to do it. It's great. And the bracelet's so much better. You don't have to go to like Strapcode or someplace like that to get a bracelet. And this all comes in at $299. So you're really getting everything that you try and upgrade on your Seiko that sort of has shortcomings with it. And you already have that done with Islander. And the other thing that's awesome is everything lines up. The indice at 12 o'clock with the arrow on the bezel and the chapter ring all line up. I know that Mark probably pays very close attention to this because Seiko doesn't, and that's another thing that they have sort of conquered, which Seiko can't for some reason. And you guys know I just recently bought a Monster. I have an SBDC 061, and during the review I'm going to be comparing this to the SBDC 061 because honestly it feels as good as that watch does in the hands. I really think it's a very good quality watch. You know, again, the SBDC 061 is my benchmark from Seiko, and I really benchmarked that watch against a lot of other watches. But this is $299. So, you know, that's tough. That's tough to beat. Anyway, okay. So what I'll do is I'll do a quick wrist check. I will show you this on my wrist, and then we'll do a quick lume shot. Very quickly, I am wearing the Dufresne City Limits. This watch is an awesome diver-inspired, GMT-inspired watch. It's music-inspired as well. I'm going to be doing a full review. It's a really cool watch on a Barton Spring strap, which I love. And these watches actually just lowered in price to $899. You can get them on a bracelet at $899, which is absolutely awesome. Very cool watch, GMT bezel, very nice. Anyway, I have not sized this for my wrist yet, but I have a 7.5-inch wrist, and you can see this wears better than a Samurai on my wrist. It really does. It's tighter to the wrist. It looks really good. It catches the light, this watch. Just even though it's primarily brushed on the top, because of all the facets in the bracelet and the case, you obviously get a good amount of light catching. And then you have a really nice ceramic bezel, which is loomed, and we'll do a lume shot really quickly. Just an impressive watch. I am impressed with this watch. It looks really good. All right, well, here you go. I mean, the lume is pretty bonkers on this. Lots of lume on this dial. That in the indices are big and very heavily loomed. They're almost as bright as the bezel. The bezel is very heavily loomed, so this is like a mini torch. And those hands, they're glowing crazily. They're really, really bright. And then, of course, you have that logo, which is really cool. I think that's really cool. Mark, you should try and loom the actual date. I've been seeing this a lot. I think that's really cool. And maybe the crown. I don't know. You know, just go crazy. There people love lume. I love lume. This is a lume monster. Definitely, if you like lume, check this out. This also comes with a diving bezel. You don't have to get this 12-hour bezel, which is friction fitted. It's really nice, but you do not need to get this. You can get the friction fitted. This is friction fitted. You can get the ratcheting bezel. That is a dive bezel, and it has, like I said, they have a whole bunch of different versions. You can get the ceramic bezel. Then they have one with a sapphire bezel. Check out their website. I'll put a link to their website in the description below. I'm sure you guys are familiar with LongIslandWatch.com. Mark makes a bunch of videos on YouTube, and he shows off all the watches that he sells, and he does sell some really cool micro brand watches and major brand watches, and he does have his own brand of watch, and that's Islander. I really like this watch. I'm really impressed with it, and I'll be doing a full review over the next 2 weeks. Tell me what you guys think of the watch below in the comments. Rock the Watch is a channel that I am very good friends with. Matt Stingray over there at Rock the Watch. He has an Islander watch. He has the SKX version. He said that he loves it, so that's why I kind of wanted to get one in. I've gotten a lot of comments on it in the past, people coming back to me and saying, Have you checked out the Islander watches? They're amazing. So I am glad that I did. This is an incredible watch. Anyway, if you like this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. Please also follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is WatchChrisBlog. I have links in the description. Those links are to watches on Amazon. However, if you click one of those links and you buy a watch or you buy anything through one of those links, it does not interrupt your Prime benefits, doesn't cost you anything extra, but it goes to supporting the channel and it helps me continue making these videos, which is really good, and I really enjoy making them, so I hope you guys do too. Anyway, thank you for logging on. I will catch you guys in the next video.